Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament. We're reading Matthew's Gospel and we're up to chapter 26. Kai egeneto hoti eteles en ho Jesus pantas tus logos taut tutus, epentois methetais autu. And it came to pass, it happened hote when Jesus etelesen had completed or finished pantas tus logos tutus, all of these words. Apen, he said to his disciples, oiditi hoti metadua hemeras topaska ginetai, kai hofios tu anthropo paradidotai eston storathenai. You know that meta, this is after here, after 2 days, Pascha, the Passover, is taking place. So we would say will take place. The Greek is present. So you know that after 2 days the Passover takes place, and the Son of Man, paradidotai, is being betrayed. Ace top plus the infinitive for purpose, with the purpose to be crucified. This is from stauro. Stauros is a cross, stauro is to crucify, and this is the aorist passive infinitive here in a purpose clause. So is handed over in order that he understood might be crucified. Toti sun ekthesen hoi archieres kai hoi presbyteroi tu lau esten aulen tu archiereos tu legomenu kaifa. At that time the chief priests and the elders, tu lau of the people, were gathered together, eris passive from sun ago, as ten aulein, into the courtyard, the aule of the chief priest, the one being called Caiaphas. Kai sun ebuliusanto hinaton Iesun doloi kratesosi kai apoktenosi. And they took counsel together, hina, in order that, now the main verb is here from kratio, they might get control on, they might get their hands on, they might have power over Jesus, doloi, by guile, by trickery, and that they might kill him. As usual, Greek doesn't put in the auton, but we have to understand that from the Iesun here. Elegonde me entehiote hiname thoribos genetai entolao. But they, now this is imperfect, they were saying, or they began to say, and we get may here, we've got to understand some sort of imperative here. Let it not be at the feast, hina, in order that, hina may, lest there might occur a thoribos, a disturbance or a melee among the people. Verse 6 here, tu de Jesu genomenu en Bethany en oikia Simonos tu lepru. And genitive absolute, Jesus being in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper. So we get a genitive absolute in that clause there. Proselthen auto gune ekusa alabastron. So a woman came to him having an alabastron, is a jar made of alabaster, and we get a genitive here. It's a jar made of alabaster consisting of muru borotimu. So this is from baros, which literally means heavy, and the team root here, time is price, so it would be very expensive, of a deep price, so very expensive. So she had an alabaster jar of very expensive myrrh, kai kat eke en epites kephales auto anakainomenu. This is from kata, and cheo is the verb. Kata cheo, to pour down. Cheo is to pour, kata cheo, to pour down. So she poured it down upon his head, of him, when he was anakainomenu, when he was reclining. Idontes de hoimethetai egenactesan legontes, esti he apolea aute. And the disciples, when they saw it, or having seen, and this is from agenactio, it's an epsilon contract verb. Agenactio, if you're looking this one up, is means to become annoyed, to become angry, to become irritated. So the disciples, when they saw it, they became annoyed, they became irritated, saying, Aste, for what purpose, and it's a question, for what purpose was this literally destruction? So it's a very strong word, but really it's waste. So spending this this very highly expensive myrrh, pouring it on his head, they see it as an apolia, a wastage, a destruction of this particular ointment. So for what purpose was this waste? And we get an explanatory gar clause, edunato gar tuto parathenai polu kai dothenai ptokois. For, now the subject of this is tuto. So for this, that is referring to this alabaster jar full of myrrh, for this was able, past tense from dunamai, prathenai, this is the aorist passive from piprasco. And the root is pra, it's piprasco. The initial pi is a reduplicated present, and the sk is iterative, and if you take all that away, you get the root of the verb, which is pra, and here we've got the aorist passive infinitive. It means to be sold. Piprasco is to sell, this is to be sold. So for it was able to be sold. Now polu is a genitive of price here. For much, understand money. When you talk about the price of something, you can just put it into the genitive of price. So this was able to be sold for much money and to be given ptokois to the poor. Gnus de hoiesus e penautois, ti kopus parekete te gunaiki ergon ga kalon ergasato es eme. And Jesus, having recognized or having understood, he said to them, why, literally, do you provide kopus, labours, for this woman? So why do you provide troubles for this woman? Why are you having a go at this woman? Ergon gar, for ergasito, from ergasdamai, she has wrought, she has done a beautiful deed with regard to me. Pantoti gatus tokus ekete methiaton eme de u pantoti ekete. For always you have among yourselves the poor, but not always do you have me. Balusa ga haute tomoron tuto epi tu somatos mu prosto en tapiasai me epoiesen. Now balusa, this is the aorist participle, feminine. So for she, literally having thrown, we'd just say having cast or having put this myrrh, epitus somatos, upon my body. Slightly idiomatic here, we get prostop plus the infinitive, so with a view to. So for the purpose of, literally she has done this to me with regard to burial. So we could say she did this to prepare me for burial. This is to put you in a taphos. A taphos is a tomb. Here is the verb of putting you in a tomb. So she's done this with regard to putting to my burial. Amen lego humin, truly I say to you, hopu ean kerukthe to evangelion tuto in holo to cosmo, lele thesatai kai ho epoiesin autes mene mosunon autes. So truly I say to you that wherever we get ean for an, this gospel might be proclaimed in the whole world. It will be spoken also of that which she has done, literally as a remembrance of her. So, as a remembrance of her. Tote Paruthes hes ton dodeca holegomenos Judas Iscariotes prostus archieres epen tithelete mudunai cargo humin paradoso auton hoi de estason auto triaconta aguria kai apototi etsete euchairian hina auton parado. And at that time, one of the 12, having gone, the one who is called Jesus Iscariot, so, and you'll need to look up the commentaries on this name Iscariot. There are various theories about the appellation here. So he went to the chief priests, and he said, Tirthelete moidunai, what do you lot wish to give to me? Cargo for Kai Ego, and I will betray him to you. And it's a question. Now this is a Hebraism, or it's a Hebraic expression. We would say, in order that I might, in Greek, but this is what you would say in Hebrew. So what do you wish to give to me? We would say that I might betray him. This just says, and I will betray him to you. Hoidi estasen auto tria conta aguria, and they literally stood before him, they placed before him 30, this is from Histami, they caused to stand before him, so they placed before him 30 aguria, well, probably pieces of silver. Kai apototi etsete, and from that time, this is imperfect, he was seeking, so he began to seek euchairion, this is from the eu and kairos, a good opportunity, so a good opportunity that he might betray him. Te de prote turn adzumon proseilthen hoim thetai to Jesu legontes, pu theles etoimas somen soi fagain to Pascha. And on the first day of the Adzumon, of the festival of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus saying, Pu, where do you wish we might make preparation for you, vagain, to eat the Passover? So again, slightly idiomatic here. So where do you wish that we'd say that in English, that we might prepare the Passover for you to eat? And he said, Hupagati est ten polin pros tondena, kai epeti auto horidaskalos lege, okairos tu mu engus estin, pros sepoie to Pascha, and we'll take the next bit in a second. And he said, go, imperative, from hubago, depart or go into the city. Now we get this funny idiom here, pros todena. It only occurs here in biblical Greek. It's an odd expression. It does occur in classical Greek. It occurs in Aristophanes. So it's an idiomatic expression, and the original derivation of it is uncertain. It literally means to the strange one. We might say to the stranger. It's just we'd say in English, go into the city to such and such a man, and say to him, the teacher says, my time is near. Again, idiomatic pros set is something like at your house. So with you. So at your house, I wish to Pascha, the Passover, metatone, methatone mu. So I wish to, what's the verb there? I wish to make poio, the Passover with my disciples. Kai epoiesin hoi methatai hos sunutaxon autos ho Jesus, kai toimason to Pascha. And the disciples did as Jesus had ordered them from Suntasso, and they prepared the Passover. Opsius der genomenes aneke to meta to turn dodeca. And it having become late, they were reclining. So he was reclining with the 12. Kai estheon turn auton, gendered absolute. And as they were eating, apen he said, Amen lego humin, hoti he sexumon paradoseme. Truly I say to you that one from among you, ex auton, will betray me. Kai lupumenoi svodra axanta legain auto hes hekastos. Meti ego ami curie. And being grieved, this is passive from loop o, I cause grief. This is the passive, so I have grief caused to me. So being grieved, and we get this svodra. This again, it's a slightly Hebraic sense here that there's a Hebrew word mode, which is used for excessively. It's often put after a verb, and we get svodra in Greek, but it's still perfectly good Greek nonetheless. It just happens to be an idiom that has a mirror in Hebrew as well as Greek. And being grieved excessively, they began to say to him, more idiom here, heis hekastos, literally one each. So we would say each one of them, even though it's a plural verb, they began to say to him, Mati, question expecting the answer no, so surely it's not I, O Lord. Hoder apokrithes apen, ho embapsas met emu ten kera, en to triblio, hutos me paradose. And so he, having answered, said, the one, this is from bapto to dip, so the one dipping with me his hand, and then the M gets repeated over here as the N. So the one dipping along with me his hand in the triblio. Triblio is a very deep bowl or dish of food. It's I think it's a classical word. I think it's in Aristophanes. So he will betray me. Hodehuios to anthropo, and the Son of Man, hup ago, departs or goes, kathos gegraptai periautu, as it has been written regarding him. And we get this woe again, plus the dative. So woe to that man, dihu, through whom, hohuios to anthropo, the Son of Man, paradidotai, is betrayed. Kalon ein auto euk egenethe ho anthropos ekenos. Literally, it was good, was beautiful, it was good for him if that man had not been born from Genao. Apokrithes de Judas ho paradidus auton epen meti ego ami rabbi, and Judas, the one who was betraying him, present participle, having answered, he said, surely it's not I, O Rabbi. And he said to him, this is Jesus said to him, su epas, you have said so. And that's the first part of chapter 26.